Hello and welcome to this powerful pregnancy class where we are working with big balls, as you can see behind us. So this is all about the balls today. I have got with me, Charlotte is on my right hand side here, and I've got Fee on my left hand side. Now Charlotte, how many weeks are you now? 35, so Charlotte's at 35 and Fee 38, so Fee's getting really close now. And this is a really great time for both the girls to be working with these balls, but you can use these balls at any time. We're just going to start with a bit of warming up, first of all, because the temperature's not very warm in the studio, so we're just going to start by just doing a little bit of warming up. And one of the things to talk about whilst we're doing this, and I hope you're moving at home as well, is why do we use these big balls? Well, as you will know if you've been doing some of our sessions already, movement, gentle movement is really good for us. And sitting still and not moving is not so good for us during pregnancy. And that's because what happens is we get too fixed in the same position. It means that muscles get locked in. It means that we tend to hold poorer postural positions, and it means our core muscles tend to shut down a little bit as well. Keeping the body gently moving is really good. It's really good for releasing pain, because a lot of the pain we can experience during pregnancy is due to muscle tightness, imbalances, and muscle stress. So gentle movements like the movement we're doing now can help to release that stress. We're just going to do some little foot pedals, and the reason I'm getting you to do these, just these gentle warm-up exercises first of all, is that I want to make sure that your body is nice and free before we go and sit on the balls and do a bit more static work. So we're just working through the feet now. If you put your hands underneath your bump as you do this, work the shoulders down, have your chin in, and just see if you can connect your pelvic floor right now. So let's just relax the feet for a second, draw up through the core of the foot. Now that means pressing through the inside of the ball of your foot and trying to, as if you're trying to gather up your mat or your carpet underneath your feet. You're keeping the inside of the ball of your foot on the floor. You're then going to do a scoop up from the back of the pelvic floor into the front. That's that stop a fart, stop a wee feeling, trying to draw into your center. And I want you to do this in a standing position, because we're now going to try it on the balls as well. So just release your feet, and we're going to grab our balls now and sit on them. Now, let's talk about the size of these balls. In actual fact, all of our balls are a little bit too small for us, and that's because we've been pumping them up manically because they're brand new balls. And often with these balls, and this is a little tip, you need to pump them up a little bit and then leave it for a day and then pump them up some more, because they kind of need to warm up so that they expand. They're actually the right size balls, so these ones are around a 65 centimeter ball, which if you're anything over 5'6", then this is going to be a good size for you. If you're below 5'6", you might want to go for a 55 centimeter ball, and if you're above 5'9", 5'10", you definitely want to go for an even larger ball than that. So we should be a little bit higher up, but do you know what, it's absolutely fine. And what I want you all to do, guys, is just to naturally just roll on the ball. Yeah, and just move on it and just move your hips. So if you've got a ball at home, I hope you're doing this as well. And this is actually a brilliant thing to do. You can do it in labour, you can do it whilst you're sat in front of the TV, you can do it whilst you're sat on your desk. Yeah, you can bounce around as well. It's good, isn't it? And it's a really, it's the perfect movement. This is why these balls are so good in pregnancy. It's the perfect movement for you. It's keeping everything, just freeing it up and moving. If we all just take the legs a little bit wider, is that okay on your hips, Fee? And just rock side to side. So just rock side to side. And as you're doing that, you can just kind of push your hips into the ball a little bit. So you're just pushing your hips into the ball. Okay, and you can actually get rid of tension. So if you straighten your left leg, just feel a bit of a stretch in your left, and then straighten your right leg. Yeah, feel a bit of a stretch in your right. Have your heels on the floor. That's it. Keep your heels on the floor, and then you could just move side to side. So you can feel how that can gently stretch your legs. So let's say you're in the office and you're at work and you're sat at the desk. You can be doing this. You don't have to move very much. You can just hold it nice and still as you're sat at the desk working on a keyboard. And you can see now why also these balls would need to be a bit higher up if you were at a desk. So Fee, how tall are you? Yeah, so Fee's 6 foot, so she should definitely have a 75 centimetre ball. So this one's a little bit small for her. If she was sat at a desk, you'd need a 75 centimetre one, blown up quite a bit more. So I hope that is giving you some tips on what kind of size ball you should have if you haven't got one already. And then also, if you have got one already, really pump your ball up. Remember that tip about allowing it to warm up, and then go back and pump it up some more so it's nice and firm as well. Okay, so we're going to do some pelvic floor exercises now. So we're just going to put our hands onto our thighs, and I want you to just sit nice and tall and upright. So our backs are going to have a lovely tall spine. You're going to work your shoulder blades down the back of the rib cage. The other nice thing about being on the ball is you can kind of feel it against your sit bones. And if you just do a little gentle rock and kind of feel your sit bones underneath you, so these are the bones that you're sitting on. If you're not sure whether you are sitting on them or not, just grab a hold of your butt cheek, pull it out the way, and see if you can feel the bone underneath. Can you feel that? Got it? Yeah? Feel the bone? Okay, so you want to be sat on that bone. Now, your pelvic floor is up on the inside of that bone. And if you think of your pelvis like a bucket, the pelvic floor is the base of the bucket. Yep? So the pelvic floor is up on the inside of that bone. So it's a very internal feeling that we're looking for. And what I want you to do now is, whilst you're sat up nice and tall, is think of pulling up through your back passage, that's that stop a fart feeling, and think of scooping that up and into the front. And we're just doing the back passage at the moment. So you're trying to scoop up into the front. And very important for these girls now is then letting it relax and drop down and let go. So I want you all to do the scoop up, but I want you to then also do the drop down, release, and let go. And that's really important, letting it go. Yeah, can you feel that? So let's do that again. So it's that scoop up from the back, pull up from the back, and then releasing and relaxing and letting it go. And hopefully you can feel, if you're sat on a ball right now, that it kind of gives you a connected feel, because you can feel the ball against your sit bones, and you can kind of feel something to lift away from, if that makes sense, and then let it come back down. Now, if you haven't got a ball right now, you could just sit on a chair and do this and do exactly the same thing, and that's fine. So let's do that again one more time. Take a breath, inhale, exhale. As you exhale, scoop up from the back of the pelvic floor and into the front. If you want more information on how to connect your pelvic floor, make sure you do check out our video, which is all about the pelvic floor. So we've got one of our technique videos, which is all about lifting in through the pelvic floor. Okay, now though, we want to kind of think about the pelvic floor from the front. So what we're going to do is sit slightly forward, and this is bringing the pubic bone closer towards the ball. You don't want to round your shoulders. You need to keep your back up nice and tall as you're doing this, but you just got a slight forward lean, bringing that pubic bone closer to the ball. And then we're going to think at the front of the pelvic floor, and this is the area around the urethra and around the vagina at the front. And if you think of your pelvic floor like a diamond shape, it goes from your tailbone at the back to your pubic bone at the front and to those sit bones on either side. Then there's a small diamond at the front of the pelvic floor. So imagine a small diamond inside the big diamond. Now we're going to work on that small diamond. It goes around the urethra and around the vagina, which is towards the front, and you're going to think of pulling the four sides of that small diamond up. So imagine pulling the four sides of that small diamond up and underneath your chin. So keep your back up nice and tall. Take a breath from me, inhale, and you're going to do that stop a wee feeling and draw up and underneath your chin, and then let it come back down. Does that make sense? Can you feel that? It's harder to feel. Is it hard? Now, why is this harder to feel? Well, it's a smaller muscle area than that scoop up from the back, but also your baby, the uterus, is over the top of your bladder, which is over the top of this part. So there's a lot more pressure down on this part of your pelvic floor. So if you're struggling to feel it, don't worry, but just keep trying it. So you're going to stop a wee feel. So stop a wee and pull up and underneath your chin, and then let it come back down. And then do that again. Pull up and underneath your chin and let it come back down. Feeling that? Yeah? Sort of. It's really funny just sat here doing pelvic floors, isn't it? Do you feel funny at home? It does. It feels really silly. But we all know we're doing something. At least we're trying to. All right. Okay. So now we're going to bring those two feelings together. So sit up tall again. Nice and tall. Sit. And now we're going to scoop up from the back, draw in from the front, pull those two feelings in together and up through your center. So take a big deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Relax. And then scoop up from the back. Stop a fart from the back, and then suction in from the front and pull those two feelings in together and up and inside you. and then let it drop back down. Yeah, okay. And then do that again. Take a breath, inhale, exhale. As you exhale, scoop up from the back, draw in from the front. So that's stop a fart, stop a wee, but it's that scooping in and that suctioning in feeling, and then pulling those two feelings together and up inside you, and keep going up and up and up and up and up, and then let it come back down. Now for Fee, that's going to be really hard because there's a baby in the way. You can even see from her bump it's dropped down. And your bump is still a little bit high at the moment. Can you feel that lift? A bit. So Charlotte thinks you can feel a bit, but it's still quite a struggle. Fee, can you feel anything going up? Barely. Barely. That's fine. Do you know what? That's so fine, because the fact is you're still doing it. All right? And it's about that connection. And once you've had your baby, it's going to be really hard to feel anything. But if you can still, you've got that imagery, that scoop up from the back, that suction in from the front, and you're trying to do that postnatally, and you can start doing these after you've had your baby. As soon as you like, you can start doing them. If you know how to do it, then you are going to be so much more successful at finding your pelvic floor postnatally and getting your strength back, okay? So it's all about a sensory feeling, but also imagery really helps as well. And another little imagery I'm going to use for you is, think of my hand as your tailbone, coccyx at the bottom, pelvic floor is along the bottom. So imagine this is your tailbone here, and imagine there's a little skier on the end of your tailbone, and is skiing off the end of your tailbone and going up and into your tummy like that. So skiing off and in, and that's that scoop up feeling. Yeah? So just try it one more time. Imagine the skier, okay? So take a breath, inhale, exhale, scoop up from the back of the pelvic floor into your belly, and then draw in from the front and up and in and up and in and up and in, and then let it relax and lower down. Okay, now that lowering down is so important. That lift up high is really, really important. Don't worry about it if you're in the last trimester, particularly towards the right at the end as Fee is now. But do make sure you're still connecting, but very importantly, recognizing that feeling of letting go. And we're just going to do that for one breath now. You're not going to pull up, you're just going to let go. So take a breath for me. Inhale, exhale. And just think of the pelvic floor opening and relaxing and letting go. Okay, let's just do some little circles on our balls again, because we want to keep everything moving. So it's nice feeling, yeah, just rolling around on the ball. But there's lots of other things we can do with this ball as well. So we're going to do that now. So what I'm going to ask the girls to do is we're going to grab one of our small blocks, and we're going to put it underneath a knee. And we're going to put it underneath let's put it underneath the right knee and have the left leg forward. So you can do the same at home. If you haven't got a block, you can just use a cushion or a towel underneath your knee. And we're just going to have the ball in front with the left leg in front. And we're just going to slide the ball forward and then come back. And this is a lovely way to open the front of the right thigh. So you're just sliding forwards and backwards. Now, as you're doing this, I want you to be aware of your posture. So you're keeping your chin in, your shoulder blades are relaxed down, keeping everything nice and lifted. Yep. But as you're doing this, the focus is on lengthening the front of your right hip. I'm going to move my ball out the way for the moment, just so you can see what I'm doing. So let's all come forward, and you're lengthening right here into this hip. Yeah, so come back again, and then come forward and lengthen into this right hip. Now we're also going to try this with the knee out in a diagonal line. Fee may stay with her knee in because she's experiencing a little bit of pain in her hips. So going wide might not be the best thing for Fee right now. So she's going to just keep her foot where it is. But Charlotte and I are going to try and take the leg out to the side. So have a go. If that doesn't feel right to you, stick with what Fee's doing. So you're still sliding the ball out, but you're going with your knee out into a diagonal line. And what you should feel, if you're doing that, is your inner thigh working a little bit more here. Yeah, so you're getting some length into your inner thigh. And all of this is great for opening out the hips, but only do it if it feels good to you. If it doesn't feel right, go back to the narrow position as you're doing it. How are you doing? Yeah, you okay? Again, we're gently moving. We're keeping the body moving. These are the sort of movements that you can do every single day. Yeah, you can do them while sat in front of the TV, as you're doing now, watching us. Yeah, but you could do it watching your favorite soap program as well. So that's absolutely fine. Okay, we're going to change legs now. So we're going to put the block underneath the other foot. And then start with the leg going straight out, and then roll the ball forward, and then come back. Roll the ball forward, and then come back. That's good. And then we're going to do that again. So, how are you doing, Fee? You okay? How are you doing, Charlotte? You all right? Yeah? Now let's think about that posture all the time, keeping the shoulder blades back and down, nice and relaxed. And we're going to do that a couple more times. That's it. Okay, and then one more time. And then Fee's going to keep going into her narrow position. We're going to take the leg out to the side, and you can still roll the ball forwards. You can roll it to that side as well. Doesn't really matter. If you want to alternate it, you can. You can just roll it around wherever you like, really. It all feels really nice. And just that little bit of support from the ball is really nice, so that you're doing this with the ball there to just help you keep your posture in check as well. So you're keeping your shoulder blades drawn down, the head is in. And you can just think about your pelvic floor a little bit and your belly being drawn in as well. Okay, and then we'll do one more of those. And then we're going to come back. All right, now I'm just going to take the block out the way and just put it back where it was before, so we can put the ball back there when we need to. And now we're just going to relax on the ball. And this is the nicest thing about these balls, is you can just relax. Now, you want to relax your head in whatever position feels good to you, guys. So if you want to turn your head to the side, you can do that. I'm not doing that because I've got a mic on and I'm talking, but you can just relax onto the ball. The reason this is such a lovely position to be in is it puts you in a position where your hips are really relaxed, and you should be able to feel that. It should feel really nice and relaxed. I'm pulling back, just resting my elbows on the ball here, and that's a really relaxed position. My hips are a little bit under tension, my feet are a bit under tension, but even just being how I am now is really nice. And you can play around with this ball. You can just roll around on it, relax on it. You can do some little circles with the ball. You can move it forwards and backwards, as long as you don't feel any pressure in your tummy. Yeah, we're not doing it as in where you see balls used in an exercise class as a core exercise. We're not using it like that. It really is just to relax on. You can use it as an exercise tool, but do you know what? I think this is enough with this ball. It's about using it as a tool to help you with your birth, so that you feel really nice and relaxed. Sitting in a chair is not so good for us, yeah? So being relaxed is really important, but sitting in a chair puts you into a tightened position in your hips. And if everybody just puts their right hand into the front of their hip now, and you just feel the tendons when you're in that relaxed position. So come back down. You should feel that it's really soft in the hip there. So I'm just putting my fingers in there. You can feel that it's nice and soft, okay? So that's why this position is a good position to be in, because the hips are really relaxed. Now we can give the upper body a bit of a stretch, so we're going to try that now. So you're just going to rest your head on the ball and just move the ball out forward, but keep your head resting on the ball so there's no strain on your tummy, and you're just going to relax down and feel a stretch through the front of your shoulders. And just hold that position there. And now just breathe, inhaling and exhaling. And just allow the body to relax. And think about the pelvic floor letting go. Think about the back releasing and relaxing, and the hips sinking, and just breathing it through. Now focus in on your breath. You can stay there. Focus in on your breath if you're comfortable. Are you okay, Fee? Yeah? And just breathe it through and start to prolong and lengthen your breath. And you don't need to look at me now. You can just be resting your forehead on your ball and just inhaling, exhaling and relaxing and getting that lovely stretch through your upper body. If you don't want to hold this position for long, you can come back into a position with your arms fully on the ball and your elbows bent. So Fee and Charlotte, I encourage you to do that if you want to come into a different position. And then just relax again and rest. And then focus on allowing the pelvic floor to release and relax. I'd like you to try breathing in through the nose, and if you can, out through the nose as well. Inhaling, exhaling, and relaxing and relaxing and letting go and letting go and letting go. So if you are at the same stage that Fee is at right now in your pregnancy, you should definitely be trying to spend a little bit of time doing these kind of relaxed positions, inhaling and exhaling and trying to relax your breath. By breathing through the nose, it helps to slow your breath down, and it also helps you to resonate with your core as well. So when you breathe out through the nose, you close your mouth, and it's like you're widening the mouth but drawing the roof of the mouth down. So do that again. Breathe and relax and release and let go. That's good. Okay, we're now going to do a little stretch for the chest muscles. Now, what can often happen in pregnancy is that the shoulders can come forward. So I want you to take the ball into your left hand, And just slide the ball out at an angle. It's about a kind of a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to drop your chest down and feel a stretch through the front of your arm and hold. Can you feel that? Yeah. Now you can move the ball around to try and feel the right stretch for you. And I will ask you now to use a little bit of core control, because what you don't want is your back to really sag. So just do that stop a fart, stop a wee, lift in through your belly. So pull your belly in and get that stretch into your chest. Now you can bring the ball all the way round so that it's your elbow is at a right angle and it's to the side. We're going to look to the right and press down. And again, take a breath for me. Inhale, exhale. Lift up through the pelvic floor and into your belly as you do this stretch. Okay, and then we're going to change sides. So we're going to take it to the other side. So take it at an angle, that around 45-degree angle, and then you're going to drop down and feel a stretch through your chest. Now inhale, exhale, and use some core control. So inhale, exhale, stop a fart, stop a wee, lift up from your pelvic floor and into your belly as you just allow your torso to drop down a little bit and feel that stretch. And you feel how this stretch is a different stretch to the side one? So this is stretching deeper structures in your chest wall. And then if you take it to the side, so get your elbow at right angles, and then again you're going to drop down and you're going to look towards your left and just try to open out through that shoulder joint. Don't push, just allow your body to relax into it. And then again, we need some core control. So take a breath, inhale, exhale, lift up from your pelvic floor and into your belly. Okay, we need to do a hip stretch now, and we're going to do this without the balls. So we're going to put our balls back over here, and we're going to start off, hopefully they're going to stay there, we're going to start off with a really mild stretch for the hips. And this is one that we can all do. So we're going to come onto our hands and knees. You're going to cross your right leg in front of your left, take your hands out to the side. And now that we've done that lovely stretching through our chest, this will feel really comfortable, but you're just pushing your hip out to the right, feeling a stretch. You've crossed your right leg over your left and pushing your hip over to the right. Breathe it through, inhaling, exhaling. And then change sides. So now cross the left leg over the right, take your hands over to the right, and then draw back your left hip towards the left. Okay, now we're going to do a stronger stretch. If when you do this stronger stretch it doesn't feel right, you're going to go back to that stretch we've just done. So we're going to take the right knee up, take the knee out to the side and lengthen the left leg back behind. Now this, if you rock with this stretch, it helps to lengthen through the front of the thigh. You may find you need to put something underneath your back knee. So if it doesn't feel right on your back knee, you can grab a towel or a cushion or a block and put it underneath your knee. But what I want you to do is to sit into your right hip. That's it. And then push forwards and into your left. Now your bump may get in the way, so you might have to come up a bit higher. Does that feel better for you? Yeah? And then change sides. That's it. And then try again. Move into the right. And then move into the left. And then just find a position that feels reasonably comfortable for you and just hold. Now again, if that doesn't feel right, you come out of the position. I'm going to show you that one we've already just done. And I'm going to cross the right leg over the left and just pull back. And you can do that stretch instead, because the one that Charlotte's now doing is quite a strong stretch, and if it doesn't feel right to you, then you do the one that Fee and I are now doing. Okay, and then we're going to change sides. So Fee, you can just do that one if you want to, and then we're going to take the knee out to the side. Charlotte, that's it, well done. And then you're going to sit. Now I can see, Charlotte, that hip's tighter, isn't it? Does it feel tighter a little bit? Yeah. So this is a good one for you to do, and then push into the right. So kind of work around your bump, and if your knee hurts here, just lift yourself up a little bit and it'll take pressure off your knee. Oh, you're doing it, Fee. Well done. Do it for a little bit. So Fee's saying she can do it for a little bit, but not for too long. As long as it feels good though, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, it really helps stretch. Yeah, yeah. So if he's saying it feels good to do it, it's helping to stretch and release. Okay, let's just hold in one position now. And if you want to change to the other stretch, you can. And then just relax into this position. And depending on how big your bump is, you may find you can relax towards the floor. And if that feels good, then do it. It's absolutely fine to do that as well. So you've got to find a position that works for you. Okay, so we're just going to finish back with our balls now. So we're going to bring our balls back and we're going to just relax onto the ball. And because of my mic, I'm not going to relax as much as you guys are, but I want these two to really relax and just put your head in a comfortable position. You can turn to the side and then just go back to your breathing, just gently rocking on the ball. So I hope this has given you some ideas of how you can use the ball. It's very simple, and actually the simpler the better. Sometimes these balls are used and it's complicated too much. Really, just it's about lolling around on a ball, making you relax. This is the key thing in your last trimester, really relaxing towards the birth. Thank you, guys.